Hello everyone, time for some more Limited. Who haven't we played as much? I know there's one faction I haven't played twice. Might be Lyonar? I definitely played all the... I don't know if I played Magma twice. Pretty sure I have. Let's play some Lyonar. Why not? Alright, what have we got? Winterblade. Winterblade's pretty good. Second Sun is okay. Aethermaster, Tuskboar. Tuskboar is pretty exciting, actually. Aegis Barrier Central. It's hard to pass up on Tuskboar. This card is pretty good. Primus Fist, Decimate, Lycian Brawler. One good card. One powerful but awkward card. I'm not much of a Decimate player. Like, it doesn't tend to fit my playstyle very much. I tend to, especially in Gauntlet, I tend to prefer to be ahead on board in Duelyst, which means that these kind of like symmetrical wraths that are a bit situational, and especially if you're pressuring your opponent, they're going to be like moving back and putting minions next to them. So Decimate is not necessarily as useful. Magnetize Eclipse. Magnetize is pretty good. I like Magnetize. Wait. 2 Magnetizers in one pack. I've never seen that before. That's new functionality, I guess. I know there was a patch recently. I don't think I want 2 Magnetizers. That sounds bad. Soul Shatter Pact. Skywind Glaive's kind of the same thing again. And then a Chassis of Mech as well. Okay, these are all pretty bad. Let's take this because we've at least got a decent 2-drop. Our board wipe, especially if we end up going in like a controlling direction. This is going to be better than this mediocre 4-drop. Dreamgazer, Tempest, Ironcliff Guardian. This is kind of strong. This is pretty appealing here. Saberspine, Circle of Life, Second Sun, also appealing. And then finally Azeroth Lion, Divine Bond, Windblade. So we've already got 3 2-drops. This is 2 more. So we literally just, this is all the 2-drops we need for the deck almost. Like 1 or 2 more, we're sorted. So I don't know if this is necessary right now, but on the flip side, these are pretty good. Like Lion and Windblade are both strong, and obviously Divine Bond, it's a far cry from how strong it used to be. Like for instance, it used to be good with this, it's not anymore. It's a pretty niche card now, but it's there as an option. It can target your opponent's stuff as well. So if your opponent has a minion with high attack, low health, it's like damaged or something, you could in theory use this to trade into it more easily, but I don't know if that's very niche. Tiger, Circle of Life, Second Sun, I don't hate. I like having a Circle of Life in the deck. I don't really like having 2, so taking them early is maybe counterproductive. This is a pretty cuttable pile of cards as well. Like, I like Second Sun, but it is vulnerable to Dispel or displacement effects. Saberspine is not that good, especially with Bond nerfed and no Argian Bloodborne spell. So I think I just want this. I mean, I have 2 AoE, which is pretty good. 2 AoE spells already, and an Ironcliff, so we can kind of go in a controlling direction. Even our 2-drops are quite good in control. I mean, Fist is more of a tempo card, but Tuskboar is removal, Aethermaster is card flow, so I think this looks good. I swear there used to be a sound when you... Maybe I've muted the sound by accident. If I go back, will it cancel my draft? I just need to check the menu. Oh no, I haven't muted the sound. We're still getting sound effects. No. It probably just broke when they changed the UI. Okay, so we could take an Azeroth Lion. Again, we are not lacking in early plays here. And this Sandburrow is good now, isn't it? It's okay. It's not that good. This is all naff. I mean, I think both Boomshock and Sunstone in a 2-draw kind of world are actually kind of exciting. But Silverguard Knight is one of the best creatures in the entire game, and then Dark Nemesis is a good control finisher. That means that we have some top end. Magnetized War Surge High Hand. I mean, High Hand's pretty good, but the rest of them are pretty low impact. And War Surge in a deck with 2 board wipes is pretty awful as well. Lasting Judgment's good. Helm is not really something I want in the deck. But here, on the other hand, Like, if you want to talk about 0-mana cards that are good in 2-draw land, Juxtaposition, probably the best 0-mana card in the entire game, except maybe Mono Vortex. Better than, this card is an upgrade on Magnetize. Does everything that you want Magnetize to do in practice, plus way more. And then we have a Saber Spine for a bit of cheeky burst or interaction. Healing Mystic, Martyrdom, Silvertongue Corsair, that's going to be hard to pass up. Rustcrawler, Silverguard, White Widow, never mind. Sunriser, Second Sun. God damn, this draft is really strong so far. I like the look of this a lot. Double Silverguard, Rustcrawler for interaction. I mean, this Martyrdom, we don't have any serious removal yet, unless we get lucky with Decimate. So Martyrdom might be... We will want a Martyrdom. And getting some healing might be necessary. Currently on 3 2-drops. Oh, it finally tells you how many things you've picked. We're on 3 2-drops. And we're about a third of the way through the draft. So we're not... We'll have plenty of opportunity to pick up more. And this has another one anyway. Will we see more Martyrdoms? I don't know. This card is not useful. Whereas all of these cards are good. Yeah, you know what? I'll take this. Lionheart Blessing. Does that draw 2 cards with White Widow now? No idea. Sunstone Templar. Aspect of the Mountains. Ooh. Corsair, Duelyst, Crossbones, Blazehound. Okay. Excuse me. I think none of these are good. I like the Aspect a lot, but I'm not keen on the other cards. And we're not super in the deck for this. I guess we have a Dreamgazer. It's pretty good with it. Tuskmaw is kind of good with it because you can move and then Aspect on 8 mana, but that's 8 mana. I think I'm going to take this. I'll probably end up... Obviously, I can make cuts, right? I think of the piles that I'm likely to leave in, like good speculative piles, Duelyst is good with Divine Bond, or if I just need more taunts. We have a Guardian, so the Divine Bond strategy is potentially alive. Another Dreamgazer, Rejuvenator, Flamewing, strong offering. Orin Nexus, Winterblade, Rasha's Curse is okay. Sunstone Braces, Silverguard, Storm Metal. Third Silverguard is pretty compelling, but I liked the packs that the other Silverguards were in, and I think this would be unlikely to make the cut. I don't hate Sunstone, especially in 2-draw. Storm Metal is fine. It's less good in 2-draw because having big idiots to die to removal is, not super useful. And we've already got a Dark Nemesis and an Ironcliffe. We don't really need more ways to just tap out and make our opponent have a kill spell. So I think I'm going to take this pile. I think these are okay. Rasha's Curse I'd be more excited about if we didn't already have a Rustcrawler. And the value of multiple redundant artifact removal spells goes down quite a bit. Because a lot of people don't end up playing artifacts, or you end up not caring about them. Again, these cards are good in 2-draw, and I do need some amount of... Like, if we're going to go for this controlling strategy, we're probably going to have more stuff higher up the curve. I mean, right now our curve is awesome, but we're going to need bigger cards to kill people with. So having smaller cards to go alongside them is useful. But I think getting the healing, especially to offset the Dreamgazers, the Dreamgazers themselves are pretty useful, especially if we pick up any Immos. They just, fill up the board. Go with Primus Fist. They are a non-bow with Tempest, but that doesn't have to be a huge problem. And the Flamewing is fine. It's just fine. Planar Scout, Snow Chaser. Arclight Sentinel. I mean, I don't want to Planar Scout, but the other two are pretty strong. Snow Chaser is kind of interesting. Decimate, Circle of Life. So the second Decimate is clumsy, but this does put us very firmly into a control deck. Two board wipes means we have relatively reliable access to them. And people do spread out, right? If we're making our game plan to so again, I'm normally quite an aggressive player in terms of how I position. But if the entire deck is, hey, let's not do that. Let's give our opponent the opportunity to spread out a bit and then blow them up with Decimate. That could be good. And it's pretty easy to make Decimate one-sided when you know it's coming. And then Circle of Life is just a really useful card to have one copy of in any control deck. Plus, if I go back in a more tempo-y direction, like if I get a bunch of Amos and cheap creatures, I can just cut this pile. Over here, we are not lacking in 2-drops. Or other cheap things to play. This is an okay Iraqi deck. No, it's not. This is a bad Iraqi deck. So far, anyway. And Lady Locke is not really a card for this faction, I think. Or probably any faction, though, that she says non-token. That's a pretty big nerf, you know. Do we want a third Decimate? Almost certainly not. Oran Nexus, Azeroth Lion, totally okay. This does technically combo with Divine Bond. Oh, there's a Regalia in here. Sunstone Templar, Rogue One. +1 preserve for each nearby ally. I mean, these two cards are both bad, and Rogue One with Decimate's pretty awkward. But honestly, I will take them just so that I can have an Arclight Regalia in the deck. If we find another Regalia later, we can cut this pile. 2 Oran Nexus, no. Aerial Rift, Crimson Oculus, Repulsive Beast, okay. Keeper of the Veil ×2. Do we have anything that's good to copy? We have Duelyst, Rejuvenator, White Widow, Dark Nemesis, technically. Rustcrawler, Primus Fist. Dreamgazer, kinda. It's just like a way to draw a card. He's not bad, and we've got a few more picks, so we can draft around them a little bit. This could be our long game plan, the keepers. Such as with this Dancing Blades. Alternatively, there's a Jaxi and a Windrunner, Magnetized Martyrdom, Storm Kage. We do need a Martyrdom. And I do like... I mean, I don't think we have a Tempest for Storm Kage, that's it, right? Or Circle of Life as well, but that's terrible. Because we have to wait a turn. I mean, it is a 6/10 that your opponent is obliged to kill. I think we probably are better off just picking Dancing Blades and a 1-drop to fill a slot in the curve with. Especially as we do have these keepers. Jaxi and Windrunner are both not terrible with keeper either, mind. But Jaxi is bad with Decimate. Are we really going to play double Decimate? We probably aren't, are we? How does this deck actually win? We have a lot of... Besides Dark Nemesis. We have a lot of small cards that don't do too much in terms of actually damaging the opponent. And we have very little burst. We have a few points of burst, but that's not much to sniff at. I think we really need to lean into this Keeper of the Veil plan somehow. I don't really know how we do that best. I'm going to take this pile and see how this works out. Another Tempest, Bloodshot Golem, Gorehorn. I'm going to go with no on that one. And God, it really wants me to pick Oran Nexuses, doesn't it? And a hand card. Hand card's pretty good. Again, awkward with Decimate. But we can play around that. Or there's just an Azeroth Lion and a Sunbloom. I don't know if Sunbloom is... Actually, Sunbloom deals with obelisks. We don't have a lot of ways of dealing with obelisks right now, so that might be good. I guess Decimate also helps against obelisks quite well. Now, you know what? Both these cards are getting against obelisks. Let's pick them. Aegis Barrier, Arclight Sentinel, Dancing Blades. That's going to be very hard to pass up. Yep, especially for all this nonsense. Okay, so now we have the curve of Sentinel into Keeper of the Veil, which is pretty good. Martyrdom, Archon, Lycium Brawler, Divine Bond, Metallurgist, Lady Locke, Aerial Rift, Gauntlet. These are both bad. I want this Martyrdom. I want this Martyrdom very badly, and I think I'm just going to pick it. But these other cards are not good. There is the Bond with the Duelyst and the Ironcliff, but that's all we have with it. And these other cards are not exciting. We have 0 golems. Yeah, we'll just take this. Martyrdom, Sunbloom, Chaos Elemental. That's pretty good. Another Tempest, another Decimate. Ugh. I mean, if there was a way to win the game after just playing Decimates forever, then I would consider that. But really, we do need to actually play creatures and attack with them. Oh, how are we doing on 2-drops? Do I want a Whistling Blade? 313 hexproof. Well, that card's terrible. It does not provoke anymore, so it just doesn't do anything. Yeah, I'll just take the Martyrdom and the Sunbloom. So I can cut the pile with the Azurite Lion, because I don't want 2 Sunblooms. Oh, now we're talking. Light Chaser, Suntide Maiden, Vorpal Reaver. True Strike, Primus Fist, Vindicator. Braces, Barrier, Sun Elemental. Wow, damn. I mean, I think this is clearly the pick, right? Vindicator's a decent card. I don't know that we... I mean, I guess it's kind of cute with Lycium Brawler. It's 8 damage to the face. That's pretty good. But that's kind of it. Vorpal Reaver, on the other hand, yes, you have to untap with it, but if you do, you know... Do we have any payoffs for the Wraith things? I don't think we really do we? We have a Primus first. We have a Decimate and Tempest, so we can kill our own stuff pretty easily. That's great. Yeah, I'm going to go with this. I love Suntide Maiden. Okay. I'm going to cut this pile. I don't want 2 Decimates in this deck. I don't think we benefit. I mean, we can go long, right? We have a Reaver and a Dark Nemesis, but like... I don't think we're missing out on anything by just cutting these Decimates, to be honest. And playing a more aggressive game plan. It's a bit awkward because I kind of do want the Primus Fist. But I really don't want this Lycium Brawler. And we're not lacking in 2-drops, right? In terms of early plays, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of. 6, 7, 8, 9 others. 10 others. At least pre-cuts. So we're really not lacking in just like stuff to stick in play. The problem is most of them are 1-4s and 1-3s. We don't have a lot of synergy for Light Chaser. Well, I think we have to keep this Azurite Lion. On the right side, our 3-drops are pretty beefy, and then we've also got like Regalia, Duelyst, Suntide Maiden, White Widow at 4. I don't think having a Primus Fist and 2 kind of non-bow cards really works. So let's cut these. Dreamgazer, Tempest, Ironcliff. I want the Ironcliff Guardian. Dark Nemesis, Silver Guard Knight, absolutely. Jux, Saberspine, yes. Yes. Corsair, Duelyst. So I could kick the Duelyst. We don't have Bond, but our opponent doesn't know that. We'll come back to this one. Second, Dreamgazer, Young Flamewing, Rejuvenator. There is some argument to be made for this. How much healing do we have? We have Martyrdom, our own thing. In a pinch, we have the Rejuvenator, we have a Circle of Life. That's it. And I could cut. I think I'll keep this. I'll keep this pile because having a Decimate in the back pocket is fine, especially with all these crappy 1-3s that my opponent can easily kill. Do I keep this Double Keeper? That's a question. So we have right now Aethermaster, Dreamgazer, kind of, Rustcrawler, kind of, Arclight Sentinel, Silverguard Knight. I guess it makes a 3-1. Duelyst, Rejuvenator, White Widow, Archon, kind of, Dancing Blades, Vorpal Reaver, technically, and Dark Nemesis, technically. That's actually a lot of decent stuff to pick up with the Keepers. The problem is that 2 of them is too many. But my choices is 0 or 2. Let's keep going for now. Sunbloom Azurite Lion could be on the chopping block. We don't have great combos for this Lion. But again, our opponents don't know that. Like, we're not flush with buffs or anything. But it's just a useful unit that moves around and does stuff. The other Sunbloom is with a Martyrdom and a Chaos Elemental, which is probably better. I think Chaos Ellie is a pretty decent card. Because you can just jam it in the middle of the board. Yeah, it'll go away after they hit it, but it comes back later. And it, they have to hit it with... It will kill whatever hits it or deal 4 to their face. So it's just, like, not terrible. I'm actually talking myself out of taking this. This other pile as well. I think having 1 Lycium Brawler is okay. I can live with it. kind of. I think these are all... I mean, I want this Martyrdom, but both of these Martyrdom packs put so many NAF cards in the deck that I should probably cut one. And I think when in doubt, cutting the one with the more expensive cards is probably more sensible, right? I don't want 2 Sunblooms, though. We're not lacking in 4-drops. We're really not lacking in 4-drops. Let's cut this. Okay, 2 more cuts. Obviously keeping this. We're keeping this. Keeping this, I think. Maybe I should cut this. How many 1 and 2 drops do I have without the lion? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 2 Dream Gazers. Oh, 7. 7 plus 2 Dream Gazers. Plus I have a bunch of good 3 drops for when I'm on the draw. I can live without this Azurite Lion. And then finally, we come back to this question. I think we're going to keep this. I think we're going to keep the... Well... Cut a Dream Gazer... Like, Dream Gazer and Rejuvenator are sort of a bit of a nombo, right? I mean, obviously the Rejuvenator helps with the Dream Gazers, but if you're not benefiting too much from having them, they don't do much. And I think cutting down on, like, generic 4s that don't particularly affect the board a huge amount when they enter would be quite good. Okay. That draft was real awkward. We had some incredible packs, but the actual deck looks pretty weak. As I remember last time we played Lyonar, it was like a very slow, grindy control deck. This one might be similar. I feel like that's where Lyonar goes. We didn't see a single Holy Immolation, which is a shame. I don't know how Holy Immo is weighted. I suspect that it's a little hard to come by for the good of the format. I did see that they've... So, there's a patch coming, and there was a recent patch, I think, since I last played, or since I last recorded, where they've done MMR-based matchmaking. I don't know if that applies in Gauntlet, but I think it like tries to find someone close to you and then expands it over time. It's a pretty common matchmaking strategy. Okay, we don't need this yet. I probably don't want to use this early. I might keep this, because even if I don't do anything on turn 1, jamming Suntide Maiden on turn 2 is pretty strong. Although it is against Magmar, so they can Plasma Storm it. No, I think I just want this good card to play. There we go, I got stuff to do. I might replace this Ironcliff though. That said, I can play it next turn if they don't punish my Sunstone Templar. Do I even want to? I mean, the Sunstone does help against natural selection, which is pretty good. The nice thing about this card is I can put it here and it can reach 2 tiles. Kind of convenient. But am I looking for just like jamming a Silverguard Knight here into Suntide Maiden? That would be ideal, right? If they natural selection the Silverguard, they don't do anything else. And then I play this and they don't have another natural selection, hopefully. Silverguard Squire. So I can take this tile. Or I can even like move forward, put this Sunstone Templar here and put the Silverguard here, but my opponent can easily still use the tile. Oh wait, I can do this. That's kind of good. This is, I mean, it's expensive in terms of cards, but it's funny. I mean, if they have Flash McCann... Oh, no, they can't Flash McCann, so they only have 3 mana. Like, this is kind of punishable, but also... I mean, that's fine, right? They spent 3 mana to answer this crappy 1-drop. That's okay. Now I have a ton of mana available to me. Suntide Light Chaser combo, kind of good. I want to replace to dig for, like, I don't know, Dancing Blades would be pretty sweet here. I don't need to use this tile, right? I don't need to use either of the tiles if I don't want to, but I probably should take this one. Nemesis, huh? I can play that next turn if I leave a mana tile open. I'm gonna do that. Am I? Oh, it's so greedy. I can do something silly. I can go here and here to keep this one open as well. I mean, I don't think that benefits me over much, but it's funny. I don't think I can protect this without going here. And it still dies to the Silence First Wish or any other pump spell, unless I guess I can body block, but then they get this tile, which I don't want them to have. The sensible thing is probably just to double spell, right? We can leave the Dark Nemesis for later. Just gonna lay this down in my opponent's face. There's a Dancing Blades, that's good. Oh no. Oh, they had a Plasma Storm. Wait, what? Oh, I forgot they changed Plasma Storm. Well, I've lost the game now. That's sad. Okay, we're sandbagging for this Dark Nemesis next turn then. So I guess I just Dancing Blades this. But that exposes the mana tile. You just play Dancing Blades for no value here. Like, I don't know if we care about this Repulsor Beast at all. I think we're just doing that. I think we're just body blocking my opponent here. May as well hit them. There's a Circle of Life in my deck. And the Dark Nemesis is more effective when it gets to... You know, when they're on a lower life total. And that Plasma Storm was very upsetting. Interesting trade. Oh, I see ya. Oh no. I mean, they're flashing a 4-drop. Hopefully I can still just slam this and not get punished. We can trade here, obviously. Dagger Kiri. That is frightening. I just trade kind of well into the Nemesis. So the other option is I martyrdom it and run away. Am I just dead? Like, what's the... How much of a threat is this, really? Amplification makes it +3. Right, so assuming they have some amount of buffs, they could reasonably be threatening lethal here. They would need... Puts me down to 15. So they would need 2 pump spells of reasonable quality. What a strange turn. Yeah, I mean, maybe this Rogue Warden is better than Nemesis next turn. So I'm not just looking dead to whatever this turns into. Really hard to tell. We also know they have Scion's First Wish, which is kind of important in that regard as well. We're going to do this, and I'll just play this here and kill that. Keeping both these cards, obviously. They're very good. Ooh, a Decimate. That's handy. Keeper is kind of good as well. I mean, this is going to die probably, but if it doesn't... I guess buffing the... Picking up Rogue Warden isn't terrible either. We can make like a 3-1 ranged. Man, Plasma Storm is so much better now, huh? That's a big buff. I guess the days of like obliterating someone's entire board are low, but... Oh, alright. I mean, I'm fine with this. This doesn't really achieve much, I don't think. First Wish. Yep. It's big. It dies to Decimate, though. Or this ranged unit. Okay, so this feels like a Dark Nemesis turn. I kind of want to just play the Nemesis in my opponent's face directly. I think that's a good idea. I mean, I could just blow up the world here, but the mana is much more efficient for me to do 2 4-drops next turn. So I think what we do is we bring this in here, shoot this, slap this down, kill this, keep all these cards. There is a War Beast line for them, but they didn't have a War Beast last turn. Yeah, they didn't have it last turn, so hopefully they haven't drawn one. Uh-oh. That looks bad. On the flip side, the War Beast doesn't kill this, right? Like, they can't remove this now, even with Greater Fortitude. So the Rogue Warden dies, but this is actually okay for me. Okay, to an extent. They're on 15, I have 10 damage on board. I do have to deal with this somehow. I mean, I can move out of the way and then pop the Decimate to kill it. Pick up Dark Nemesis with Keeper of the Veil, but I'm better off playing Silverguard Knight, I think, so I don't get hit. So let's replace this. That does nothing. Yeah, I think that's all we're doing. So I think I want to be in the corner because it prevents me from getting hit by further War Beasts, right? So we're just going to do this. Pop the Decimate. It's a bit of an awkward... You know, like... This Decimate is the world's worst Phoenix Fire, but this puts us in a good position. If they have another War Beast, they can trade with the Nemesis, but that's it. Or I guess they can run around here and hit this, but... I think I attack them, right? Because it means I can kill them next turn, even if this dies. This is really bold, but I think it's what we do. Regalia is a good draw. It's pretty spooky. But if they do have another War Beast, at least... okay, that's not a War Beast. Okay, I win, right? I'm sure I have lethal somehow. Yeah, we have the Dancing Blades. So Dancing Blades plus Silverguard Knight can attack the taunt and then they die. No, you cannot attack me. Do I have a cleaner lethal? It really doesn't matter. That was a spooky one. That Plasma Storm was pretty backbreaking, huh? After I made that big, you know, play to the board, try and get ahead, tempo turn, and then all of a sudden, bang, and the dirt is gone. Yeah, what was I talking about before? There's a patch coming, and they're apparently releasing some new cards, I think, like next week. One of them has been spoiled. Let me see if I can remember it correctly. It's a 2-mana 2/4, and I think when it dies, it spawns a mana tile on its current location. So it's kind of like a worse Celebrant, but also a decent body for trading. I think that's quite an interesting card. Sort of a cool design. I like the... Well, it's a bit awkward in that if your opponent kills it, they kind of get the first say on whether they can use them on a tile, but on the flip side, it's difficult enough to kill on curve that you're not massively punished for playing it in a forward position. And if they use removal on it, and when you're like threatening, like if it's turn 1 and you play this, and your opponent kills it with a removal spell, you can still take a mana tile because there'll be a mana tile next to your general, which is quite a nice play pattern, I think. It's similar to Crystal Wisp in that, like, if the Crystal Wisp dies, you still get a mana tile. Less directly. I think the card is probably not as good as Crystal Wisp at doing its primary thing. But I think it's quite an interesting card. I don't know if anyone would actually play it. It'll be quite cool in draft, I imagine. I keep thinking that Lilithart is Maeve. Right, I think we just hard replace for something to do, but maybe against Abyssian, maybe keeping White Widow is better because they have good, cheap artifacts and Wraithlings to kill with it. So I might sandbag this and hope we draw something to do on turn 1. We didn't. That's bad. Darkspan. Well, that does die to White Widow, which is quite good. Provided we win the coin flip, because presumably they're going to play something else this turn. Do I save this Aegis Barrier? If I play... Yeah, if I play a 3-drop, or well, play anything that can take a mana tile. Oh, damn, I'm dead. Let's go here. Oh, Jux is kind of good. Can use that to kill something. Steal the initiative back. Primus Fist. It's fine. I mean, I can just punch this, so... Okay. So I guess we move up, White Widow on the tile. Replace Rogue Warden, and then see what it hits. If it hits this, great. If it hits this, I punch it. It's a bit awkward because I can trade into it. Maybe I should play more conservatively. Like if I go over here, put the White Widow behind me, I can't veil it. But it also can't die, which is maybe I just let them have the mana tile. And go for board control instead. I think here is maybe good as well, because I can move forward and punch the Primus Fist if needs be. Or, well, I will do that anyway, right, to body block. And they definitely can't attack it, so they'll have to spend removal. If they don't have removal, then Aegis Barrier works. If they're up here, they can guaranteed kill it, right? Yeah, there's no way they can't attack it there. The other option is just to play the Suntide Maiden, veil that, and punch this, which is... Actually, that's a lot better. I don't know why I was thinking about White Widow for so long. This is much better. just do this. Do this. Do this. You know what? I could even Jux here to protect this mana tile, but they can use the other... I'll replace this. Right, that's a much better line, because this doesn't die on board. And I still have the option of using White Widow to try and kill off this Primus Fist next turn. Plus, now I have a Suntide Maiden that I can run at them with. And I'm guaranteed to get an attack in on something, because they're standing there. Blood Siren. Ow, I'm going to take 2 damage. I mean, if they're going to do that, I can kill it with the Suntide Maiden for free. That's kind of nice. Yeah, cool. Okay, so my opponent has... What is in their hand? Because they've had 2-drops, but not been able to double spell. They must have top decked this, right? This seems like a decent White Widow turn. Although I don't need it to clear anything, so maybe there's a better... it's just Mono Fission. I'm going to play it here so it's a bit easier for it to move towards me. I'm going to take some damage here, but it'll be worth it. So we're going to... It genuinely doesn't matter what the White Widow does. Ether Master, that's pretty cool for next turn. Kill this, kill this. Box my opponent in, I guess. It makes it harder for them to get at the White Widow. Maiden heals. More on the money. So this is why I'm not really normally a person who picks Decimate. This is how I prefer to play Duelyst. I have the minions. I'm making the trades. I'm in your face. Now my opponent's going to like move away and play a minion. Decimate does nothing. There's enough, I mean, there's obviously constructed decks that can, things like Wizard Brome that are just removal spells and very few minions. Or Mantra, or things that are combo decks, but they're kind of an exception, from when the game had a large enough card pool that you could do stuff like that. Grasp of Agony on the Dreamgazer. Dark Terminus. Okay, so I've taken 3 damage. Aegis Barrier absolutely carrying here. What is this? Egg Morph. 2 Egg Morph in my opponent's deck. Man, I'm glad I Aegis Barriered this, huh? Right, so this Wraithing's going to die to a replace. I have 6 mana. I have an Ether Master, so I should probably do that to get the White Widow humming. I actually don't really need this juxtaposition, right? I think my turn is like Ether Master, Silverguard Knight. Let's replace the Jux first and see what I get. Tiger. Tiger Tuskball looking pretty exciting here. Obviously we are going face. We may as well attack with this. It's not doing anything else. I'm going to keep moving the White Widow forward. It does technically make it more vulnerable, but there's a Decimate in my deck. I'm going to play this first. Here is fine. I will replace one of these, I guess. Because my opponent is a million miles off actually being dead. Well, not a million miles because I have a lot of minions in the way, but... And we just play this here, take up this space in the center. Maiden heals, and we're good to go. Arclight Regalia. Here comes the pressure. They haven't printed that card that kills everything around your general and turns them into Wraithings yet, have they? What have we got here? This is 8 damage, 9 with a replace, 10 with 2 replaces if the Ether Master lives, 11, 12 with my face, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 1 off. That's fine. Oh, my opponent's going to attack that for me. That's convenient. Okay. I can circle this. It's probably a good idea, right? And then punch the Iraqi Headhunter just to make sure that, like, I don't mind my opponent. I don't mind taking a little bit longer to kill my opponent. I don't think there's a lot of burst in my deck that I could replace into right now. Yeah, fair enough. Don't need to damage them for lethal if they concede instead. Control decks. Here come the quest completions. Alright. Just gonna go and flick a light switch in the room next to me. Night has fallen. Yeah, I'm kind of interested, talking about the patch there's upcoming. I'm kind of interested to see what they're doing with the new cards. I think there's a small number of them that were apparently designed by backers of a certain Kickstarter tier, which is not usually something that fills me with confidence. But I mean, the one card we have seen was pretty cool, and they've got new art for some of them, which is really nice. They've actually managed to source artists. We are not doing well with the turn 1 plays here, are we? I'll just mulligan everything. Give me a 2-drop. 3. Do I keep this? They have amplification. Against Songhai, they have Onyx Bear Seal, but otherwise they have no great way of killing this. And OBS takes up a decent amount of... Like, the 0-2 is annoying for them still. Is the Duelyst actually good here, though? Like, if they Phoenix Fire it and I get a 0-10, is that worthwhile? I think so. I think that's good value, right? It would have been nice, I guess, to replace for a different 2-drop, but that's fine. This is a very good draw, though. Well played, they say. Oops. Okay. I see, they pressed the wrong button. Right, are we doing Tuskbore Silver Tongue this turn? So I could kill this and deny this mana tile. And play the Silver Tongue mid. I don't know if that's remotely useful. Is the Duelyst actually going to achieve anything here? I can position it so that they can't hit it. They might be able to make a big play next turn though, which is kind of scary, potentially. I think that's probably better than using... I think I'd rather use the Tuskbore to kill something where the Tuskbore doesn't die. Rogue Warden. That does nothing. The other option is I deny this mana tile with the Duelyst. So I can put it here. Or I can put it here as like a rattlesnake where they can't attack it. And it can trade into anything. That's probably better. I think being able to get a minion off the board is, or at least even trade for a Phoenix Fire, is better than them being able to hit it. It does mean they can play more spells, but I have a Tuskbore and an Ironcliff, so I have decent ways of coming back from that. There's also like 3 AoEs in my deck. There's one. So if they spread out with a big wide board, there might be a Decimate line. I mean, at least something's going to be next to the general, but... You know, if they play like 3 minions, like they take this and then put something here, and then they move like this way, we might be able to get 2 things with a Decimate. That would be quite good. We might. This card is so awkward. I think I'm replacing this Rogue Warden. Like, we do still have the option to Tuskbore the Jade Monk as well. This Duelyst is pretty good for me because my opponent doesn't want to trade in. My opponent doesn't want this to trade into their actual minions. So if they spend a card getting rid of it and I get my 0-10, that's fine. Especially if they do it before they move and then the 0-10 steals the mana tile, that's funny. I guess Duelyst and Decimate are kind of non-bows as well. Because Duelyst encourages my opponent not to spread out and play near it. And then also the 0-10 forces my opponent to clump up around the 0-10. So if that's locking down their general and another minion, they're not getting decimated. Okay, so they are doing this. What is that? Oh, hello. Well, I said there might be a Decimate, and there's a Decimate. Would you look at that? Okay, so my line here is like move forward, move this up, right? All their stuff dies. Can I do it in such a way that I keep this tile up? I don't think I can. Or need to. Maybe I'll draw 1-drop, but... Sunblue. Yeah, I mean, fair play. Fair play. I guess another option is I take the tile, go here, so the Duelyst doesn't die, trade into this Ash Method with myself and the Rustcrawler, and then kill the others. But I think this is cleaner. Or I go over here. That's also an option. I just back away, let them have the mana tile, They can't use it very effectively this turn. And Duelyst is still threatening everything on it. This is 4 health, so I'll just move it into the center. Okay. We don't even get that much tempo from it. Like, they've still got a full hand. I've got a full hand. So I 2-for-1'd them. And I traded up by 4 mana, and I don't actually feel that good about it. Because my board's kind of weak. But on the flip side, my opponent is really heavily disincentivized from playing any moderately large minion in the middle. And if they're playing random 2-drops, I actually have a good answer to that in my hand with the Tuskboar and obviously trades. So I think we are actually in a decent position. We can also look at keepering the Duelyst, but I'm going to run out of mana doing that. So I would like ideally to... If I'm going to do that, I want to replace into a 1 mana spell and have this mana tile available, but it looks like they are actually going to use it. Tuskboar. That is fine. I presume they have something else to play, but if not, then this will get milled. So we can ignore it. Just play Ironclave Guardian, probably. What? Is that a Phoenix Fire? Okay, no Keeper of the Veil shenanigans for me. They went for the Phoenix Fire. Ah, terrible spawn as well. After all that, it was rubbish spawn. Okay, so... I should probably just kill this, right? Question is, what else am I even playing? This is okay. Like, I can do... this plus Ether Master is fine, actually. That's like a totally okay board. I will maintain the center tile here, I think. Kill this. Do I protect the Chaos Elemental? Nah, it's a Chaos Elemental. It'll be fine. But I do like protecting the Ether Master here. Am I even replacing anything? This Keeper sucks with all my cards, so let's replace that. Damn it. Oh, okay. Hey, we can go infinite. Keeper my Keeper. Make 1/1s forever. I mean, I guess as a late game plan, I mean, you never run out of cards in this game. But if you did, the Keeper would be pretty cool. Keeper's a bit awkward in this game because you're always spending your mana and your hand always fills up. So this kind of like expensive value card isn't very good. But imagine this in one draw where you just make like 7 1/1s a turn plus whatever you play, whatever you top decked. It's kind of sick. That's terrible RNG. They just got to kill it. Oh well. Mask of... Oh, that's scary. Backstab 3. At least I have this tombstone. Probably just martyrdoming this, right? Or I could blades it myself and trade all this stuff in. Oh, Regalia Martyrdom, that's good. We both lose a charge. Is the only downside by me attacking their face. But it's still a bunch of damage, and I think me losing a charge for them losing a charge is pretty good here. Yeah, this is happening. And then my only other options are Keeper of the Veil and Tuskboar, which are bad. Well, I guess I do have another replace. It's probably just the Keeper again, isn't it? Sentinel. Oh, buffing this is pretty good, actually. Maybe we'll leave that. It can't attack this turn, so... I've had the Fiend. So I am pleasingly backstab proof here. Oh, that's a good draw. And I will send the Ether Master in to remove this if I need to. This is very difficult for them to get rid of. They can repulse it, I guess. Or Jux it. Although it's pretty difficult. They have no minions, so Juxing it probably doesn't work because they would have to like play something. You know, normally you would like juxtaposition something by playing it, you know, your minion in the corner and then you swap and your thing is attacking. But like here, that isn't beneficial at all. What am I doing next turn? I kind of like this Arclight Sentinel on the Tombstone option, but it's probably just Vorpal Reaver Millicard pass, right? Hailstone Golem, Cyclone Mask, oh no. Cyclone Mask, that's upsetting. Probably Ironcliff Guardian then. And this Silvertongue Corsair, and we'll just taunt up the 4/6 as well. Block my... Oh, that was... Oops. That was a misclick. What do I even replace? I mean, all these cards are really good, but... Are we really replacing this Tuskboar? I mean... I can also Dancing Blades Tuskboar down the Hailstone Golem, but then I don't really have anything else going on. This is much better, I think. If only there was a way to taunt the General and not the Hailstone, so that I could have the Hailstone be stuck with the Zir'an, but I don't have that option. And then the Silvertongue is kind of the next best thing, right? Tempest. I'm going to hold on to that. I actually think I'd replace this. Circle is kind of good, actually. Okay, so let's do this. Maybe here to reduce backstabbing. Put this here. I'm going to go here, again, to reduce backstabbing and just not attack. Preserve my life total as much as possible. I kind of give up some board presence here, but I have removal in hand. And this random Ether Master that I accidentally moved for playing stuff over here, so it's not too bad. My opponent can't move very far, so they can play in this area, but they can't... It's quite difficult for them to play things that aren't either within easy trading reach for me, or like not provoked by this. They have to go here, which is kind of not a great position to be in. And then yeah, hopefully next turn I just like kill this with, I don't know, Circle plus Sentinel, Tempest. This can chip off the artifacts. They have Amplification, which could be spooky. If you attack someone with ranged from behind them by like a distance, does the backstab actually trigger? Okay, there's the Repulsor Beast. But on the 0-10 instead of the Ironcliff, which is great. And there is a juxtaposition in my deck. Okay. I'm going to focus. Yeah, okay, so they've got a kill, but they are spending their entire turn on it and several cards. Oh no, they ran out of time. Oh, that's a feel bad. Goodness me, that's a feel bad for them. I want my Dancing Blades back. So we pop this with the Circle, kill this with the Arclight Regalia probably. I think I'm still priced into attacking my opponent down with this Ironcliff anyway. I have another Provoke, which is good. Nothing really to keep a Sentinel Keeper is kind of interesting. Nah. You can just run out a Sunstone, that's fine. But I think this is better. We circle this. Punch this. Oh, I have a second replace. Bring this back in. Saber-spine tiger is an interesting one. We're going to attack them down here. They still have ranged, but I have another provoke. Not today, my friend. Not today. There's the Nemesis to potentially seal the deal. Okay, that's fine. There goes the Cyclone Mask. Okay, we're now ahead on cards. Again, doesn't really matter in 2-draw. Like, the game will end with me with 6 cards in hand, I'm sure. But we are ahead on... At least we have more options than them. We have more choices. I wonder what this shuffled in. Do we get to find out? No. Does it take the card out of their deck as well? I didn't see. I wasn't checking. It'd be sick if we like ripped Amplification and just killed them with that. Oh no. That's frightening. We don't have an answer for that. Do we have an answer for the opponent? This is 5 damage, 6, 7, 8, around 10. Just replacing these poor old dancing blades constantly. No, I can replace the Tempest. Ha! No way. Okay, that's kind of sick. Okay, we have 6 burst. That's a lot of burst. Okay, I'm going to do this. I guess I do this, right? We don't care that much about Red Sinja, do we? I'm on 25 HP. Opponent, do your worst. I'm just going to do this now, just for mana efficiency's sake. It kind of gives the game away, but Jux is spicy. I was hoping I'd draw that last turn, and I could Jux the Red Sinja into the corner uselessly, and then they'll be provoked by a Tombstone. But alas. Heaven's Eclipse, oh here we go. My opponent's kind of close to fatigue at this point. I mean, they're going to die long before they draw out their deck, but... Heaven's Eclipse is pretty cool. But I guess if they have a juxtaposition, it doesn't do too much, right? They can jux my Vorpal Reaver away to where the Tombstone is, but if they did that, they wouldn't have moved the way they've just moved. They could swap. They could play a minion and then swap something next to the Sinja to kill it. I think that looks. Oh no! They just from Hellside I stab at thee. I don't think they can kill me, right? No, they're just getting some damage in and presumably trying to find lethal for next turn. But fortunately for me, I have this juxtaposition. Another change that I think is happening in the patch where they're releasing new cards, or at least soon. Something they're working on is ranks for Gauntlet. Now, I actually think this is a negative for me. I far prefer... I mean, ideally, I would be playing Gauntlet against people of a similar experience level as me, right? I want to play against people who have a similar win rate to myself, let's say. Which will make the games harder, right? That's fair, right? That brings in a challenge. Now, obviously, I don't play that often, so in practice, this would be quite punishing for me because I would potentially get outplayed. But I think I'm pretty decent at Gauntlet, so I think there aren't too many people who would like gatekeep me, as it were. But doing this through a rank system, as opposed to an MMR system, which I think they've also implemented, so I don't really know what the deal is, but doing this through a rank system, I'll keep this actually, means that you can't possibly get to a higher rank without grinding. Like, the only way to get to a decent rank is by... Oh, hello. Let's just do that then. Fair my 1/4s. Is by playing until you have achieved a high rank, at which point you might be paired against people of that rank. I should check my opponent's extra cards. Ancient Grove, Earthsphere, Natural Selection, Scion's Third Wish. What does Scion's Third Wish do now? Oh, they have a Tuskball skin. That's pretty cool. Oh my god. Horrifying. What? Okay, I guess it's dead. I mean... Sucks to be me, I guess, but it's not actually that bad for me, I think. They do get this one back, which is annoying. But they spent 2 cards to kill my 2 cards. And now we're going into their turn 3, and I have the board lead. I've also got a Circle of Life, which is kind of handy. Offset the damage. They can obviously kill the Silver Guard and then play another 2-drop. Could well be a 3rd Tusk. Oh, okay. Getting spicy, are we? Opponent's out here playing Mantra. I guess I just take the tile, kill this Silhouette Tracer. Circle of Life with Circle of Life, pass. That feels weak. I don't know if I have a great alternative though. Keeper. Yeah, I think that it's fine. It's fine. Like, I get rid of the thing. I heal back to full. It's okay, you know. My opponent has a lot of pretty scary out-of-class cards, as well as the Tuskball. So this could be a long and high-powered game. We'll see. Natural Selection is pretty gross as well. I can't just rely on this. Oh no, a ranged unit. Oh, okay. I will kill that with my Tuskball, probably. Guess I could just Ironcliff Guardian it. I don't really have much else going on, so... Tuskball Keeper of the Veil is kind of cute because I can replace the Tuskball. I can replace the 1/1 that it generates. I don't know if it stays a 1/1 in your deck or if it goes back to normal size or not. But it still like effectively draws a card. And I keep a 3/4. This is dead. That might be sensible. I'm going to do that. I think not letting them have this is a good idea. Well, annoyingly, I have to move. I can go here, actually. It's fine. I always think the keeper has to be adjacent. It doesn't. So I'm going to replace this and just see, because obviously a 1-1 Tusk Ball is pretty useless. So I'm going to replace that and see what happens. They've got an Earth Sphere in their deck, and they're playing Songhai, and seem to have quite a high-powered deck, so I am not going to hit them here. The natural selection is committed, so now this might stick. We might need to test the Waters Cliff just in case they have Onyx Bear Seal. Or like some other combination of powerful cards. That's a 5/3, pretty cool. Right, what did I just clicked past that, even though this was the card I wanted to see what it did. Okay, they've just killed my Keeper of the Veil, that's fine. I mean, this 5/3 is cool, but what if I just played Dark Nemesis? Maybe Guardian plus Aegis is better. I'd love to be able to remove this, but I don't really have any... There's no lasting judgment in my deck or anything, is there? Whitewood is kind of good for later. Maybe I just play Rogue Warden, Aethermaster. They may well have some removal or some, you know, Mist Dragon Seal or whatever for this. I think we have to... I'm on nearly full HP. I think we have to kind of let them come on that front. Maybe the White Widow is better, but the Rogue Warden spends my mana more effectively. So let's do that. I'm going to think about avoiding backstabs. Although I don't think there's a way of giving backstab, is there? There's just Mask of Shadows. So I think we just play this here. This here, maybe. Get the extra replace. I kind of like all these cards, though. Yeah, we're keeping all these. Oh, Dream Gazer, that's cute. Dancing Blade's looking a little awkward here, but we can potentially, you know, walk around behind. That's fine. We can attack it, maybe. Inner focus. They need another buff. Blood Wish is gone. Natural Selection is gone. Primus Fist. Jade Monk, okay. Primus Fist. My opponent has all the skins. It's pretty cool. Right, I am looking a little dead here. Dancing Blades does help, but I'm then going to get hit by this 5/3. I don't really want to play this Dream Gazer. If I replace it now, does it work? I guess not, right? It just goes back in my deck. I don't take damage. Nice. Oh no, I have nothing to do. That's bad. Like this is an option. They need 1 more damage to kill it. I think I should do that, yeah. I'm just going to do this. It's not super efficient, but... Oh, that's good. Okay, we might be able to do something with this Decimate. Might. Depending on how much my opponent spreads out. So... It's not super difficult for them to conjure 1 damage. Here we go, they're killing with the 2/5/3, so I'll take it. Kaido Assassin. Backstab 2 nowadays, huh? And a Hamon Bladeseeker. That's going to kill me. This White Widow might be useful. I can move here. Let me see. If I move forward, I can Dancing Blaze this, or if I put something in the way. I can attack this. I can Arclight Sentinel this. Move here, Dancing Blades. The blades will just die to this Blade Seeker. I do have more mana. I can White Widow first and see what happens. Let's try that. I'm going to play this White Widow. We're going to replace this. It's this. Cool. We attack this. Don't have a great line here, actually. Very mana inefficient. Oh well, it's fine. At least it's dead. Another decimate. Ah, you took one. So if they have Jux or Mist Dragon here, obviously that's very bad. That looks like that's what that is. I don't really mind them doing this. I mean, I can now play stuff very far away next to this 2-4, but... Okay, they killed the White Widow with there. That's not so bad. That's a big provoke. I mean, there's a juxtaposition in my deck as well. If I could draw that. This Decimate is doing Decimate things. That's a Dreamgazer. Good game. Damn, my opponent had a strong deck there. They've, you can't tip people when you lose. Weird. I like the new wording on the tip notification, though. Thanked you for the match with 5 gold. That's nice. Cool. I don't know if I earned any orbs. I did. Let's open this orb. Nice. I love this card. Suntide Maiden. Big fan of Suntide Maiden. I mean, back in the old Bond days, it was obviously a stronger card. Because it plays very well with that. I mean, even New Bond is not bad on it. 6/6 that heals itself is pretty decent. And it does kind of stay on 6 a bit more reliably, because people don't usually attack it if they can't kill it. But I liked it for its own sake, to be honest. Just a meaty body. It also used to be one of the few ways to trigger Sunriser without having to spend loads of mana. Right, that wraps this up. Actually, to return briefly to my point about ranks in Gauntlet, that person I just played against, they would 100% be in like Diamond or whatever, right? In Gauntlet rank, because this person presumably plays a decent amount, and I don't. But that's the sort of person who I want to be playing against more. Like, it's a bit unfair if I queue into a newer player. Yeah, it's nice for me, I get a win and I get to chill out, but like, realistically, that's not fair on them. And I would rather learn more by playing against people who are more, more experienced. Even if I lose, like, the runs are 20 gold. I have 100 runs worth of gold here. So even if I never win ever again, I'm probably just never going to run out of the ability to do Gauntlet runs, right? So I value the ability to come in and play occasionally. I think I wish fewer games had season resets, or at least regular season resets. Every few months is maybe okay, but like, always chasing the like trying to get to a decent rank. As someone who makes videos of games, I have to choose between grinding a game just for the purpose of getting to a point where I'm playing against people of whatever experience level I'm at, to make the matches more interesting or fair, or not doing that because I have a life, that doesn't necessarily involve whatever game I'm making a video of this week, that much, and just playing normally, but then playing against people in bronze or whatever, and the videos are not particularly worthy. I don't know, this is kind of it's hard to say this without being patronizing to people who are just learning the game, right? But if I spoke of imagine someone who isn't me, right? You've got let's say a pro player. If they're making videos and they're in bronze and they're just crushing people who are like learning the game, that's not very interesting for anybody involved. You want to watch pro players playing against other pro players, right? Or streamers playing against other people who are their kind of experience level. So that it makes for fun games. So I much prefer, like in Dota, you get an MMR and it slowly moves over time. and it never resets. I mean, so you can trigger it, a recalibration, and I think recently they updated the ranking system. Like, they changed the game, so you had to recalibrate. But then you don't start from the bottom, you get calibrated, so the game guesses at your MMR to start with. So you play 10 matches, and then you're at, you know, some rough approximation of your actual level regardless. So there's no grinding involved in getting to your level when you start. And people, you know, grind MMR in Dota as well, but like, your MMR doesn't actually go up unless you get better at the game. So it reflects you as a player much more effectively than ladders do. So I like the idea of the MMR matchmaking they have done, and I would kind of like it if they'd use that. Just like have an MMR system, so that people like me who play occasionally, or people who don't want to grind that much, can just come in and play against people at their level and have more exciting games, more challenging games. I mean, I guess it's a bit weird to be like, you should cater for me, the person who plays once a week, but, you know, even when this is the sort of thing that means I don't play online card games that much anymore. I need to want to play the game for its own sake, and if my interest drops below quite a high level, I stop following the game and I just like, I've stuck with Marvel Snap because I can play it on the toilet, which is not the case for other games. Or like, you know, when I have 5 minutes making coffee or something, it's a much more portable game than others. But even then, like, you know, I play Marvel Snap every day while, you know, waking up in the morning and stuff. And it's still, the ladder is still like, oh, I wish this was a bit slower. I wish these seasons were 2 months instead of 1 month, so I just had a bit of time to, you know, play the game at my own pace, right? Anyway, that was a bit of a digression into the woes of free-to-play games. But, yeah. I don't know if it ends up being that playing Gauntlet for these videos will put me against bronze players all the time. That kind of disincentivizes me from making them at all. So we'll have to see how that pans out. Hopefully it's not quite like that, or you can climb quickly. But I don't really want to grind. I'm pretty happy with my current level of engagement with Duelyst 2, which is basically I just play it on camera and that's it. But I think if I played, like, I've now played a couple of Gauntlet runs with each faction, and the decks were basically the same. And if I play against an opponent, their deck is also basically the same. You know, there's like one archetype per faction, one deck that is kind of prescribed by the weightings. And people have slightly better or worse versions of it, but there's not a lot of creativity. It's sort of, I guess there was that one game I had where I was drafting around the Stars Fury. But even then, it turns out I was doing it wrong because Lady Lock doesn't work on tokens. And it just never came up in the actual draft. Someone pointed it out in the comments. We'll see. I am interested to see how the new cards shake up the format. They might, you know, that one I talked about earlier does seem kind of interesting as a Gauntlet card. So they might add a bit more depth to the gameplay, a bit more variety. And of course, more variety in the card pool does help broaden the number of the types of decks that people will play, assuming the other archetypes are good, which I think is currently the problem. But I'm going to wrap this up now. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next one.